3:30 we got Raiders traveling to Dallas to play Cowboys. Cowboys are at 7.5 points on CBS. So the Raiders have some injuries on offense, not some crucial ones, but we'll go over them real quick. Running back Jalen Richard is hurt. He's a ribs, limited practice, questionable for this game. If he can't go, to replace him as the number 3 back, you got Peyton Barber, 7th-year player out of Auburn. Fullback Alec Ingold had a knee ACL tear. He's out for the season. They don't have another fullback on the roster that they could bring someone back up from the practice squad, but they didn't do that last week, which makes me doubt they're going to do it this week. Tight end Nick Bowers and Derek Carrier both have injuries. Nick Bowers had a neck injury. His potential return this week off IR, and Derek Carrier had a pectoral injury. His potential come back from that injury this week as well. But if not, the top 3 tight ends are obviously Darren Waller, the amazing 2015 6th-round pick out of Georgia Tech. He's really awesome. Foster Moreau, 2019 4th-round pick out of LSU, was their number 2 tight end, and Daniel Helm was their 3 tight end, 3rd-year player out of Duke. At left guard, they have an injury. John Simpson had ribs injury, limited practice, questionable for this game. If he can't go, Jordan Simmons, 5th-year player out of USC, can go, and that's really the only significant injury on offense. On defense, on the other hand, they have some significant ones. We'll go through them real quick. Defensive tackle Gerald McCoy, obviously early on in the year, had a knee injury. He's out for the season. And Darius Philon had an ankle injury. He's out till week 13, which means your starting 2 are Quentin Jefferson, 2016 5th-round pick out of Maryland, and Jonathan Hankins, 2013 2nd-round pick out of Ohio State. And then the backups are Solomon Thomas, 2017 1st-round pick out of Stanford that everyone knows from the Niners, and Damian Square, 10th-year player out of Alabama. All these players are pretty solid on the defensive tackle side of things, so I don't really feel that bad about the injuries. I feel like they've replaced them pretty finely. Middle linebacker Nick Kwiatkowski had an ankle injury, did not practice, questionable for this game, and Nicholas Moreau had an ankle injury. He's out. He was on out until this week. Let's see if they bring him back onto the squad. But if not, starting at middle linebacker is going to be Denzel Perriman, 2015 2nd-round pick out of Miami, and backing him up are going to be one of the other 2 outside linebackers you got to think. Either Divine Diablo, 2021 3rd-round pick out of Virginia Tech, or Patrick Onwuasor, 7th-year player out of Portland State. Also continuing the injuries, their cornerback core has not been exactly healthy. Trayvon Mullen has a toe injury. He's out until this week. And Tayshaun Nixon had an ankle injury, did not practice, questionable for this game. If both those 2 cannot go, you're going to start Nate Hobbs, 2021 5th-round pick out of Illinois, and Casey Hayward, 2012 2nd-round pick out of Vandy. Backing them up are going to be Desmond Trufant, 2013 1st-round pick out of Washington, Brandon Faison, 5th-year player out of Virginia Tech, and Amik Robertson, 2020 4th-round pick out of Louisiana Tech. And then at strong safety, you have Tyree Gillespie. Had a hammy injury. He's out till at least week 14, which means we're going to... so he's the backup strong safety, if you did not know. So now the backup to the strong safety is going to be one of our free safeties, either Roderick Teamer, 3rd-year player out of Tulane, or Dallin Levitt. I bet Teamer, but a 4th-year player out of Utah State. Now looking at the Cowboys, injuries are a little bit different. On offense, also not... it's pretty bad, but, you know. Running back Rico Dowdle had a hip injury. He's out for the season, but he's their number 4 running back, so no one's going to replace him anyways. Probably number 3 running back. Maybe Corey Clement was signed in free agency, though. I don't know about that. Fullback Siwa Olenulua had a neck injury. He's out for the season as well. Blake Jarwin could return this week from a hip injury, but if not, you have Dalton Schultz as your 2018 4th-round pick out of Stanford. Sean McKeon. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but 3rd-year player to Michigan, and obviously Jeremy Sprinkle, 2017 5th-round pick out of Arkansas. Wide receiver Amari Cooper has COVID-19, and CeeDee Lamb had a concussion. I believe he practiced yesterday, so it's questionable whether he plays in this game. And TJ Vasher has a knee meniscus injury and COVID-19, so he's definitely not playing this game. If they cannot go, they have 5 receivers on the roster. Number 3 receiver, obviously, Michael Gallup becomes the number 1. 2014 3rd-round pick out of Colorado State. Then Cedric Wilson's their number 2. 2018 6th-round pick out of Boise State. Noah Brown's their 3. 2017 7th-round pick out of Ohio State. Malik Turner's their 4. 5th-year player at Illinois. And Semifo Hoko, 2021 5th-round pick out of Stanford. Defensive ends, both of them you're not getting back this week. You're better defensive ends. They were pushed back a week, at least DeMarcus Lawrence was. Had a foot injury. He's on IR at least week 13. And Randy Gregory, same thing, calf injury, out until at least week 13. So now you're going to have your starting defensive end, Terrell Basham, 2017 third-round pick out of Ohio, which is really going to help if you guys watch my Conference of Champions series. It's really going to help booster the max rating if he can have a good season. And Doris Armstrong, the 2018 fourth-round pick out of Kansas, and backing them up are going to be Azor Kamara, third-year player out of Kansas, and Chauncey Golston, 2021 third-round pick out of Iowa. Defensive tackle, we have 2 defensive tackles hurt. Neville Gallimore, elbow on IR at least this week, so we'll see if we get him back. They get him back for this week. And Brett Urban has a triceps injury. We'll see if they get him back this week as well. But if not, you're going to rock with Osa Odigizua, which has been a really good player, 21 third-round pick out of UCLA, and Carlos Watkins, 2015 pick out of 2015 fourth-round pick out of Clemson. Backing them up are going to be Tristan Hill, 2019 second-round pick out of UCF, Justin Hamilton, 6-year player out of UL Lafayette, and Quentin Bohanna, 2021 6th-round pick out of Kentucky. So, strong side linebacker, Jabril Cox had an ACL injury, he's out for the season, which means the only 2 strong side linebackers, which we're probably going to be top 2 strong side linebackers anyways, but it's going to be Micah Parsons, 2021 first-round pick out of Penn State, and Francis Bernard, third-year player out of Utah. Cornerbacks, you've had some injuries, but obviously you have Tre'Davious Diggs, so not a lot to worry about that. But Reggie Robinson went on IR with a toe injury out for the season. Bruce candidate had a concussion. He's on IR at least until this week, so we'll see if they get him back this week. Strong safety, Donovan Wilson had a shoulder injury. He's out till week 15, which means J-Ron Kurth, 2016 7th-round pick out of Clemson, is going to take over. Actually, not take over. He was starting anyways. Donovan Wilson was kind of the number 2 guy, which means Israel Mukwamu, the 2021 6th-round pick out of South Carolina, that I was actually somewhat high on as a corner. I'll see if he can transfer to safety. But what do I think? This is interesting. These are 2 teams that have recently been slumping. I think Raiders are like in a 3-game or 4-game losing streak at this point. Cowboys have lost 2 out of the last 3. So it's really interesting that you're the only one Cowboys won in that streak, by the way, is just a Falcons team that is absolute trash. Just absolute garbage. Now, the Raider team could be described as absolute trash, and I feel like a lot of people would describe them as absolute trash, but it's interesting. At least the Raiders have the offensive talent. The Falcons had to rely exclusively on Matt Ryan really to make football plays. And I mean, you had Cordell Patterson and Kyle Pitts, but again, not that much talent on the offensive side of the ball. Now, I think you can describe that here, but Darren Waller is he's an elite tight end. You also have a wide receiver core that can at least be used. They're utilized. They're usable. The Falcons receiving core is not. And they have some good running backs. Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake are both useful in certain roles. And then you also have and the receiving core is pretty good too. You still have Hunter Renfrow, who's one of my favorite slots in the league. You still have Brian Edwards, who I think is pretty solid. You still have Deshaun Jackson. You still have Zay Jones. So I think there's some players on the Raiders side of things. Cowboys are going to be interesting if CeeDee Lamb cannot go. He's really questionable, and I think he's a major factor in this game. If not, then you're just going to be like, ooh, Michael Gallup, make sure he doesn't catch the ball, and Cedric Wilson, because those are the only 2 receivers that can make plays for him. And let's be honest, Michael Gallup is the only one that is really an elite version of a wide receiver. Now, obviously, you're going to have to worry about their running back room. With obviously, they have, they have they have Pollard and they have Ezekiel Elliott, and then you also have some pretty good tight end in Dalton Schultz. So it's going to be interesting there. I think the Cowboys win this one, but I don't think it's by 7.5 points. Give me the Raiders to cover, but the Cowboys to win this outright.